You know that person, the one who never posts. No selfies, no food pics, no main character energy. They don't announce birthdays, breakups, promotions, or gym progress. And every time you notice them, your brain whispers, "Are they okay?" Plot twist. They're not just okay. They might be the most mentally free person you know. Let's talk about the psychology of people who don't use social media, or use it so quietly you forget they exist, and why their silence isn't a flaw, it's a strategy, and a powerful one. The first illusion: if it's not posted, did it even happen? Social media trained us to believe that experiences need witnesses to be real. No post, no proof. No likes, no value. But people who don't post live by a different rule. If it felt real, it was real. They don't turn moments into content. They turn moments into memories. When they travel, they don't ask, "Where's the best photo spot?" They ask, "Where do I feel most alive?" When they laugh, they don't pause to record. They laugh again, harder, because nobody's watching. That's not ignorance, that's presence. Your brain versus the algorithm. Here's something retention psychologists know. Your brain is not built for constant evaluation. Every time you post, your brain runs a background process. Will this perform? Will people approve? Did I choose the right angle? Why did that person get more likes? That mental tax is subtle but relentless. People who don't post have unconsciously opted out of this system. They're not playing a game where the rules keep changing, the scoreboard is public, and the prize is temporary validation. Psychologically, this preserves internal control, the feeling that your worth comes from inside, not from reaction metrics. That's not antisocial behavior, that's emotional self-defense. Humor break, because this matters. Let's be honest. If aliens studied humanity through Instagram, they'd conclude, we eat salads daily. Everyone is in love, nobody struggles, and all problems are solved by sunsets and gym selfies. People who don't post saw this circus and said, "Yeah, I'm good." They didn't leave society, they left the performance. Silence is not insecurity, it's selectivity. One of the biggest myths is that quiet people online are shy, lonely, or lacking confidence. Psychology shows the opposite is often true. People who avoid posting frequently have higher private self-awareness, think deeply before expressing, prefer meaning over noise, choose depth over dopamine. They ask, "How does this feel?" not, "How will this look?" That single difference changes everything. Because when you stop managing perception, you finally have space to build identity. The real flex no one talks about. Posting says, "See me." Not posting says, "I see myself." People who don't use social media don't need constant proof that they exist, matter, or belong. They don't outsource confidence. They don't need a digital echo to feel heard. And here's the ironic part. When they do speak, people listen. Why? Because rarity creates weight. Silence builds authority. Why they have fewer friends but deeper ones. Social media multiplies connections, but it divides attention. People who opt out tend to have smaller circles, longer conversations, stronger emotional bonds. They don't know everything about everyone, but they know a lot about the people that matter. They show up instead of reacting. They call instead of commenting. They listen instead of scrolling. 10 real conversations will always outperform 1,000 likes in predicting happiness. Always. The observers see more than the performers. Here's an underrated trait of people who don't post. They're incredibly perceptive. Because when you're not busy broadcasting, you're watching. They notice changes in tone, sudden overposting, forced happiness, the difference between joy and display. They understand the story behind the post, not because they're judging, but because they're paying attention. They don't need to be loud to be aware. Power isn't loud. Power is optional. Choosing not to post isn't hiding. It's choosing sovereignty. It's saying, my life is not content. My peace is not a product. My moments are not public property. Some experiences actually lose meaning when performed. The sunset feels weaker through a screen. The achievement feels smaller when filtered. The conversation feels thinner when captioned. People who don't post know this instinctively. They don't document life, they inhabit it. The ultimate paradox. Here's the irony that makes this fascinating. Social media promises connection, self-expression, confidence, belonging. But the people who feel most connected to themselves often use it the least. They already have what the platform sells. They didn't reject connection, they rejected conditions. They said, I'll connect without performing. I'll express without branding. I'll belong without proving. That's not withdrawal, that's evolution. The final thought that stays with you. No one, at the end of their life, thinks, I wish I'd posted more. But many think, I wish I'd been more present. I wish I'd lived instead of displayed. I wish I'd protected my peace. The quiet ones aren't behind, they're ahead. They're not invisible, they're just out of frame, living fully in moments that don't need witnesses. And maybe, just maybe, they figured it out before the rest of us.